This is a 13 Weather Impact Alert.
Good Friday afternoon, West Michigan. I'm meteorologist Blake Hansen. Joining me is meteorologist Amber Tuardi. And Amber, we already are kicking off the severe weather risk across portions of West Michigan. In fact, right now we have an ongoing tornado warning for St. Joseph County, specifically in the Three Rivers area. And it does appear that this thunderstorm has produced a tornado with reports of damage coming in, at least in the Three Rivers area. And some of this even stretches a little bit back to the west and parts of Cass County between the Niles and Edwardsburg area.
Yeah, a couple of pictures that have popped up out of some of those areas where damage has already been reported. There's already been reports of people seeing this tornado on the ground. The last report that we saw was that it's lifted, but it does not necessarily mean that this isn't something we really want to pay attention to still. For sure.
Let's get right into it. Satellite and radar, of course, much of the day across West Michigan has been quite foggy. We've had a round of heavy rain, even some thunder and lightning earlier this afternoon, but the majority, almost all of the storms today have been non-severe, and this is including pretty much all of West Michigan. But this one particular thunderstorm down towards the state line has been showing signs of tornadic rotation over the past 45 minutes or so, and the National Weather Service of Northern Indiana, they cover the bottom counties near the state line, and they have upgraded this tornado warning, the threat at least, to a considerable threat, because it does appear there has been multiple reports of confirmation that this is a tornado, or at least has been a tornado on the ground. This again is primarily for St. Joseph County right now, just to the north and east of Three Rivers. So this just over the last hour. We'll try to slow this down, give you a little bit of a picture here of the trajectory of this storm, and you can see how this originated back in Cass County and now is progressing through St. Joseph County. This is a quick-moving thunderstorm, Amber, moving at a good 40 to 45 miles per hour to the east-northeast. Of course, we are watching its progression towards our viewing area. Technically, Cass and St. Joseph County really not part of the 13 on your side viewing area, but if this storm continues its trajectory, this could be progressing into parts of southern Kalamazoo and southern Calhoun County over the next hour. A better look just to showcase where this storm could be progressing over the next hour. And again, this is traveling about east-northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. And again, you can kind of see the hook of this storm. We'll get to that, the more technical stuff here in just a minute. But you can see over the course of the next hour, next half hour. Sorry, we're going to say that one more time. Here, my producer. We're going to go on air. Okay, we're going to go on air. Then we're going to give yourself a couple minutes here while we get on air. But again, this is tornado warning is for St. Joseph County until, I believe, Amber, right now, 4:15 in the early afternoon, late afternoon, I should say. And that is our focus right now as this continues to push to the east-northeast. We'll give it a minute or two while we get on air, and you can continue to watch this stream while we break over typical programming on 13 on your side. You can still watch this stream as we continue our progression of this tornado warning across St. Joseph County. So just give us a minute, and then we'll be right back talking about this thunderstorm.
This is a 13 Weather Impact Alert.
Good afternoon, West Michigan. We are interrupting regular programming here on 13 on your side due to an ongoing tornado warning across St. Joseph County. I'm meteorologist Blake Hansen. Aside me is meteorologist Amber Tuardi. And Amber, we have been watching closely of this thunderstorm, the severe thunderstorm, over the past hour as it has worked its way now northward of the state line. It has impacted parts of Cass County and now has been impacting St. Joseph County. And there have been reports that this tornado tornado. At least this thunderstorm has produced a tornado here and there.
Yeah, some spotter reports saying that this is a large, extremely dangerous tornado. That is why it's been upgraded to the considerable risk that the NWS in northern Indiana decided to upgrade that to. It's still going to be in effect until 4:15, and once again, that's in St. Joseph County for areas going into Centerville, moving into the Mendon area. But the reason that we really want to pay attention to it is that it's just south of southern Kalamazoo County, but it's still something that could end up impacting those areas.
Yeah, let's get into it. Satellite and radar. Now, much of West Michigan, at least our viewing area here on 13 on your side, we have not contended with any severe weather. Yes, we had that round of heavy rainfall around midday, some thunder and lightning, but for the most part, we have avoided any severe weather again across our viewing area. Cass, St. Joseph County, a little bit southward of our technical viewing area here at 13 on your side, but this severe thunderstorm, this now tornadic thunderstorm, requires some attention just because it is traveling in a direction towards southern Kalamazoo and southern Calhoun County. You can see that this storm now they have extended this tornado warning to the northern extent of St. Joseph County until 4:30 this afternoon. So another 25 minutes from now. The National Weather Service office that covers St. Joseph County is the Northern Indiana office. This is not the Grand Rapids office just yet, but if this storm continues its progression, the National Weather Service office of Grand Rapids will make a decision on what warning will be needed for this thunderstorm if it continues its progression into southern Kalamazoo and or southern Calhoun County. But you can see that this storm, Amber, over the past hour, let's take a little bit of a loop here, originating back by the state line, actually in northern Indiana, and it has worked its way in the east-northeast direction over the past hour, working its way through Cass County. It does appear that there was some damage reports between Niles and Edwardsburg in Cass County, and now this thunderstorm has worked its way through St. Joseph County and has impacted the Three Rivers area there. Do you have a couple more tidbits there about what's been going on there in St. Joseph County?
Yeah, National Weather Service of Northern Indiana has said that emergency management in that area has confirmed that this is a large and dangerous tornado. They have called it a particularly dangerous situation, a life-threatening situation. Anybody in these areas looking at Mendon towards Centerville still, but then extending to the east-northeast of that, that is where we are going to be seeing the greatest risks. Now, this is looking at velocity inside the storm. This is what indicates rotation. So here's a look at where that is when you see the bright reds, the bright greens right next to each other. That means that you're getting rotation within the storm blink.
And again, this thunderstorm is coming off of the Fort Wayne radar. So the green coloring you see on the map there, that is wind coming towards the radar at Fort Wayne, Indiana. The red shading is the outbound wind away from the Fort Wayne, Indiana radar. And again, when you see that tight, what we call a couplet, is indicating that there is some tighter rotation across that particular portion of the storm. And again, it does appear that this is an ongoing tornado right now to the north and east of Three Rivers, just to the south of the Mendon area, again in St. Joseph County. Going to go back to just regular radar here, and you can kind of see a little bit of a more textbook, kind of loosely using that word here, but a little bit of a textbook hook echo there with this storm, Amber. You can see this progressing right in here.
Yeah, and that's what caught our attention
right
first.
There. Yeah, you can see that would be kind of the inflow needed, the warmer, somewhat moisture-laden air. Temperatures are starting to warm at the state line into the 60s, along with the dew point. How much moisture is in our atmosphere? Above 60 degrees as well. So we're starting to check off some of the boxes here with this thunderstorm that is feeding off some very favorable ingredients. And also notice when we kind of expand the view here, Amber, this is the only thunderstorm that's ongoing. So this is taking advantage of the environment across southern Michigan, right by the state line. So it is tapping into all of those favorable ingredients. But if we take a better look here at the progression of this storm, again, this is moving a little bit to the east-northeast here at about 40-ish miles per hour. If it continues its path kind of, again, more east-northeast, this would be heading towards the Athens area. That's southern Calhoun County by about 4:25. So that's only about 15 minutes from now. This would be heading in a direction towards Union City, the Burlington Township area by about 4:30 to 4:35. So that is only 20 minutes from now. So I know this is in the well southern portions of our viewing area, but if you do have friends, family, or if yourself is watching from southern Calhoun County. Definitely a time to, just be prepared, be weather aware, and maybe start making that plan of action to head to the most secure portion of the home or building that you may be residing in. Right now. It's only 4 o'clock, so some people might be still at work, of course. Kids are starting to get out of school as well over the past hour. So just something to keep in mind with this thunderstorm, that we have no ongoing warning in our technical viewing area, which is roughly Van Buren, Kalamazoo, Calhoun County to the north.
But to note, too, this is development along the warm front that we've been talking about for the past 24 hours or so, nosing its way further and further north. That development that's allowing this one storm cell to pop up, and it's not battling with other storms for that energy, so it's really able to tap in just the warmth, the moisture, some of that wind shear that's causing that rotation as well. And that's something heading further north.
Yes, that's going to be what we focus on over the coming hours. While, again, there are no other severe thunderstorms across West Michigan right now. So if you're watching from Grand Rapids or Muskegon, the rain that is falling right now, that is not associated with any severe thunderstorm risk. But as this afternoon goes on, I just want to take a look at temperatures here. We'll get here it is. We'll get to that map. Is that numbers are rising into the 50s, and even for some now into the lower 60s. Yeah, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, right around that 60-degree mark. Three Rivers, that thunderstorm just progressed through Three Rivers. That tornadic thunderstorm.
We just got a severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up in Kalamazoo County. And that is also carrying that considerable tag and tornado possible too. So if we're able to switch over to computer 2 to kind of take a little bit of a closer look at that, this is exactly from that exact storm that's making its way now through St. Joseph County. So at this point, going to be just clipping that southeastern portion of Kalamazoo County, looking at the possibility of hail that could be up to 1 3/4 inches in diameter, and also winds that would be up to about 50 miles an hour. So here's a little bit of a closer look at that from what we're seeing. Some of these stronger storm cells, or at least this one stronger storm cell really that's popped up, is impacting some areas. But once again, just like Blake was saying, this is not for everybody, but the areas that it is going to be moving through, you really want to make sure that you are paying attention and getting to your safe spot. Yeah,
this severe thunderstorm warning in Kalamazoo County, definitely the hail threat along with it is elevated. The National Weather Service, 1 3/4 inch in diameter. You're starting to approach ping pong size hail with this thunderstorm. Again, this is in the far southwest corner of Kalamazoo County, this now severe thunderstorm warning. This is separate of the ongoing tornado warning across St. Joseph County, but this is the far southwestern corner, so just to the west of Athens, again to the east of Vicksburg. This is the area that is under the severe thunderstorm warning across southwestern Kalamazoo County, and this goes all the way until 5 o'clock. This severe thunderstorm warning, so a little bit more of an extension of time compared to the tornado warning in St. Joseph County. But again, this is all due to the lifting of the warm front. We talked about this over the last couple days, Amber. It's all going to be about the positioning of this warm front, and you can see this warm front is starting to nose its way towards I-94. Three Rivers, again, 64 degrees, and a better outlook kind of just to showcase some of this unstable air is the dew point. I know it's kind of hard to think of the dew point after a season of winter, but now we are starting to see that dew point approach 60 degrees, actually now in the lower 60s just south of I-94. So we are starting to tap into a more unstable air mass across far southern Michigan, at least southward of I-94. And the expectation, at least, as this afternoon goes on, Amber, of course, is that we're going to be watching some of those storms that are upstream of us across Illinois. I kind of want to go back to that view there in Illinois just to showcase. Yeah, notice all the storms starting to fire up in northern Illinois. And there's also some clearing of the skies in northern Illinois and Indiana right now, which is going to continue to cause the atmosphere to destabilize. Yeah, just contributing to that instability, adding fuel to the fire when we're talking about those thunderstorms. You can really tell that even just looking on satellite and radar here. Now, the main point of all of this is that we are seeing the development of a few thunderstorms already along that progressing warm front as it makes its way further and further north.
this is what we're going to be watching throughout the rest of this evening. So our time frame that we've been talking about is right now through about 9 p.m. is what we're going to be seeing for really our severe weather potential that we've already got a little bit of out there. I mean, we're looking now at velocity, which is exactly what displays where rotation is within this storm. And that's exactly still where we're seeing this rotating storm cloud, which has contributed to, yes, the tornado that's already been reported as confirmed.
Yeah, even as this thunderstorm, in these situations here in southern Michigan, you can see while there might be a report that the tornado may be on the ground, at times that lifts back up, what we call cycling of the thunderstorm. But we're still noticing that broad rotation at the very least with this tornadic supercell. That is indicating that there is still the potential for this to go back down to ground level, at least the extension of a funnel cloud into a tornado to ground level with that broad rotation still being indicated on this thunderstorm. We'll say it does appear a little messier, and what I mean by that is that the rotation isn't as tight as we were just noticing a few minutes ago. As mentioned by the National Weather Service, there's been multiple storm chasers that have indicated of a tornado previously on the ground in the Three Rivers area. But this is looking at debris potential, and it just looks a little messy right now. So we'll go back to radar to get a clearer look here. But you can kind of see where this storm is feeding in the warmer, somewhat moisture-laden air, and this is right in here. You can kind of see how this all feeds into this thunderstorm. It's trying to produce what we call a hook echo. For those at home that might not know what that means, that's all we're trying to tell you here is that that's part of the thunderstorm that is feeding in this unstable air, and with some broad rotation well up in this thunderstorm, there is the potential for maybe another confirmed touchdown of a tornado. Yeah, so for those that are close to the Mendon area, extending a little bit further to the northeast of that, that's where the rotation is going to be the main concern going towards Athens. I will say, too, the National Weather Service did note, saying specifically that southeastern corner of Kalamazoo County underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, not as much of a concern with the rotation, but a pretty great concern still when we're talking about really hail risk, especially for those areas. Once again, they're in the southeastern corner of Kalamazoo County. If we can switch over to computer 2 to kind of show that off a little bit, that's where we're still seeing the possibility for not just tornado being still a chance there, but most of that rotation remains a bit further south of Kalamazoo County. But the considerable risk is largely with the hail size, up to 1.75 inches in diameter. That is a large hailstone. If we end up seeing something like that, that is extremely damaging. Winds also still warmed up to about 50 miles an hour. So wind, it will be a concern, but really it looks like the main concern with this cell specifically for that southeastern corner of Kalamazoo County, that is going to be largely with the hail risk. Once again, this warning is out until 5 p.m. So still another 45 minutes or so of this warning as this storm cell continues to track its way further and further to the northeast. I want to throw a track on this once again, just to kind of show you exactly where we are expecting this thing to head. It still looks like it's traveling to the northeast, right around 40 miles an hour. So throwing a track on that as it continues in its way, that is going to be making its way a little bit further northeast, a couple of townships that it would be expecting to impact in Calhoun County. That's largely going to be in about 15 to 20 minutes from right now. So once again, the storm moving to the northeast at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. It's windy, that's for sure, but the areas that are a bit further south, still into St. Joe County, that is where we are seeing the main rotation. A bit further north of that into Kalamazoo County, that's where the main hail risk is. The hail core looks to be making its way a little bit more on the northern end of that storm, and it looks like things are continuing their progress going towards the northeast, Blake. Yeah, it's going towards the northeast, and along, Amber, with this tornado potential, we really need to highlight also the hail potential, as you just mentioned, of this thunderstorm producing, nearly 2 inches in diameter. That is a large hailstone for southern Michigan standards. And this is a product that we use to try to indicate maybe the likelihood of hail along with the size of hail. And when we start seeing these brighter colors on the map here, such as the red, purple, magenta color, that is indicating that this storm is producing larger hailstones. And as mentioned, that tornado warning along with the severe thunderstorm warning is indicating that hail could be upwards of nearly 2 inches in diameter. That is about ping pong size hail, and that appears to be the case on the northern flank of this thunderstorm. Usually what happens here, when you have these tornadic supercells, while we are focused on this particular area of the thunderstorm for maybe any tornadic development, it is this side of the thunderstorm on the northern flank of this thunderstorm. That's the hail core of this thunderstorm, and that is what is producing likely some large hailstones on that St. Joseph, Kalamazoo County line. So a little bit to the west of the Athens area. If you are in the Athens area, I would say this is the time to get to the most secure place of your home or whatever building you may be in right now, as this thunderstorm is progressing near the Athens direction in the east-northeasterly direction. So again, we have kind of two impacts here. Firstly, more importantly, the potential of tornadoes with this thunderstorm, or at least a singular tornado, but along with it, the hail core of this storm on the northern flank towards that Kalamazoo, St. Joseph County line, and likely now extending into southern Calhoun County, just to the south and west of Athens.
Yeah, so these areas are going to be the ones that are impacted right now, but then, of course, talking about tornado warning, there is also the chance for hail to be an issue here. Just like Blake was saying, that main hail core making its way a little bit further on the northern flank of the storm. So southern Kalamazoo County, even into southern Calhoun County, up towards the Athens area, that's where the main concern is hail at this point. Still, I want to show you this tornado warning as it's now considered to be radar indicated. A lot of that rotation, just like Blake was saying a little bit earlier on, it's becoming a lot less organized, a bit messier as we're looking at velocity. And once again, green is towards the radar, red is away from the radar, and this is looking at a radar that's in northern Indiana. There's still a little bit of rotation, but not nearly as much as what there once was. Now, considering that there were some areas towards Niles, Three Rivers, Schoolcraft, that all saw many areas, or many people rather, that were reporting seeing this tornado with their eyes and considering it a large and extremely dangerous tornado. At this point, we're not exactly seeing that quite anymore. Instead, once again, rotation is becoming a lot messier, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're in the clear. We still have multiple areas that are underneath these severe thunderstorm warnings, especially for that southeastern corner of Kalamazoo County. Calhoun County over towards Athens, especially, I do think that those are areas that you're really going to want to make sure that you are staying weather aware of these next about 30 to 45 minutes. We are continuing to see this severe thunderstorm warning that has a considerable threat tag to it, and that is largely because of the hail potential. Max hail sizes up to 1.75 inches in diameter. That is a massive hailstone, absolutely. So that can be very damaging. That is the main concern when we're talking about specifically southeastern Kalamazoo County's threat. As we head into these next 30 to 45 minutes, this cell will continue to make its way further and further off to the northeast, but as for the rest of West Michigan, it's rainy, but it's really just that one cell that we're tracking at this point in terms of severe potential. That does not necessarily mean that that's all that we've got for the evening, though. Yeah, I would say, can we expand the view real quick of radar? Because I want to make it clear for those that are watching, and thank you, by the way, Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. The bulk of our viewing area, places northward, such as Pentwater, if you're watching from Big Rapids, everyone in between. Right now, the rain that's pushing through, there is nothing severe. There's nothing imminent in our thinking here that there's anything severe in the near term across West Michigan. It's all focused on that one singular thunderstorm that is progressing from St. Joseph County into parts of Kalamazoo and Calhoun County, so just to the south and east of Kalamazoo and Calhoun County. It does believe we just have another severe thunderstorm warning extended over into Calhoun County. Yeah, that makes sense there with the progression of this thunderstorm. So again, almost all of West Michigan right now, not in any imminent threat of severe weather. Just want to make that clear to maybe lower some of the nerves down across Grand Rapids, across Muskegon, and everyone in between. This is the one singular thunderstorm, and the reason why we're staying over the air a little bit longer for a storm that's just a little bit to the south of our main viewing area is that there has been
a now confirmed history that this thunderstorm has produced a tornado. It looks like there's maybe 2 separate touchdowns of this thunderstorm, one near the Niles and Edwardsburg area in Cass County, and then once again in the Three Rivers area.
Yes.
In both Cass and St. Joseph County. The latest report from the National Weather Service office in northern Indiana is that there's no ongoing confirmation of a tornado. This is all radar indicated from the National Weather Service, but that doesn't mean that the threat is over, because we have seen this thunderstorm, what we call cycle, the tornadic opportunity. That's why we believe as of now there's been 2 separate touchdowns of this severe thunderstorm in the way of a tornado. Once again, one near Niles and Edwardsburg, the other near Three Rivers. But this is all progressing north and eastward. Right now, the threat, any warning across Kalamazoo and Calhoun County is just a severe thunderstorm warning. I will say, notice the text here, Amber. This severe thunderstorm warning right now for Calhoun County, the maximum hail inch size.
Yeah.
So a little lower than what was in Kalamazoo County. That inch size hail still dangerous though. That is quarter size inch hail. And you can see that this storm on the northern flank of it is still producing, at least radar is indicating that there is some very large hail, or at least the potential of some large hail trying to push into that southwest corner of Calhoun County, just to the west of Athens, kind of between the Leonidas area and the Athens area, is between St. Joseph and Calhoun County right now. And again, this is just a product that tries to sample the projection of hail in this thunderstorm. But based on what we're seeing, definitely think some hail is reaching the ground in this thunderstorm.
Yeah, that tornado warning too that's extended through still St. Joe County at least, so into southwest Michigan, that county that's bordering the state line. It was not necessarily put at that considerable tag. That was originally what we were looking at through much of Cass County and extending over into portions of St. Joe County. But I will say the National Weather Service of Northern Indiana had said that they reduced that to a base tornado warning because they've not seen any reports of a funnel cloud, of any rotation coming from people near the Mendon area. So that's why it's now down to a base tornado warning, which of course still is really warranted of your attention. You want to make sure that you are really paying attention to these warnings, whether it's confirmed or not. You always want to treat it like it is going to be a dangerous situation, getting to where you're safe, your basement, your most interior part of your home. Here's some of that rotation still, but yeah, it's become a lot less organized than a bit earlier. Yeah,
still a little bit, still somewhat disorganized, but you can see, remember, that broad rotation that's now pushing a little bit eastward of St. Joseph County. That's what we're still going to closely keep an eye on as we continue the late afternoon, early evening hours. I still think our threat across West Michigan, the bulk of the area, is still between about 5 and let's say 9, 10 o'clock early this evening. That is our first round of this low-end severe weather risk, but just because it's low-end, it is not zero, and this is kind of proof in the pudding right now. Just because a risk is low-end, and many of us probably won't contend with severe weather as this evening goes on, it only takes one thunderstorm to cause some issues, and that's what we're seeing right now in those counties near the state line. Again, this is the look at rotation. Anything in green is winds towards the Fort Wayne, Indiana radar. Anything that is in red is towards the is outbound away from the Fort Wayne, Indiana radar. So a little bit on the broad side, this rotation will say, and really not sensing any debris signature on radar. This is a look at debris in our atmosphere. Radar can take a look at that. Anything in red is generally a meteorological occurrence, such as rain. It could be hail. But anything that you see that's discolored away from this red shading would indicate maybe some debris, but because the colors away from red are so disorganized, that's not indicating any debris potential. We want to see something that's really more defined on the map, which is great news that we're not seeing anything right now. It looks like a lot of this rotation might be broad. This thunderstorm might be just producing a funnel cloud, but nothing that appears to be on the ground right now, and that's why this current tornado warning just to the south of Calhoun County is radar indicated.
To note where this tornado has been to, it was incredibly large and dangerous, reported to be on the ground. We've even seen a few reports, especially from emergency management, that have reported collapsed buildings, and also apparently the high school, Three Rivers High School, was hit by this tornado. That is the report that's coming in from emergency management. So we do want to still make sure that we're paying attention to this tornado warning, even though it doesn't have that considerable tag anymore. Hey, a tornado is a tornado still. Now, at this time, it's radar indicated, but you still want to make sure that you're taking this warning seriously, extending over through the northern portion of Branch County as it continues to make its way out of St. Joseph County. That is also going to be an area that's warned for maximum hail up to 1 inch in diameter. This is going to be for areas extending over towards Union City and even just to the south of Athens, making its way south of that Calhoun County line. So that's where we're seeing some tornado warnings, but we still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings on the board as well. Now, that considerable tag on the one that's over in southeastern Kalamazoo County, most of that area, you should be done with the warning. That is continuing to make its way further and further east, so that warning is likely to be dropped within the next about 10 minutes or so, likely even a little less than that. But the storm is still tracking its way through southern Calhoun County towards Albion, Athens, and that's where we could be seeing still maximum hail sizes up to 1 inch in diameter and maximum wind speeds up to about 50 miles an hour. And that is still with the tag of tornado possible. So rotation still being observed within the storm, but it does look broad, less organized, and that's not necessarily very conducive for the strong tornadic activity that we were seeing through much of Cass County and the western portion of St. Joe County too. So as this storm cell continues to track further northeast, we're still keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, I do want to make a quick note here. This was just confirmed by the National Weather Service office in northern Indiana. This is a confirmed storm report. This is outside of the Three Rivers area. A video was sent in showing a tornado hitting the Menards store and lifted at least a portion of the roof off on the main building. The Menards near Three Rivers is on the southwestern side of town. Their storage unit nearby was also damaged by the tornado, and debris was seen flying around the circulation on video, which was taken near the US 131 M60 merger. Again, that is just south of downtown of Three Rivers, that Menards location, south and west of downtown Three Rivers, and the time estimate there, 3:46 of when that occurred. That matches up completely with when this tornadic thunderstorm worked its way through the Three Rivers area. So now we do by far, and we've already kind of been hinting at that, have confirmation of, at least in the Three Rivers area, that this was a confirmed tornado at one point about 45 minutes ago. Now, this storm is pushing currently into Calhoun County. We'll kind of get back to radar here. Let us cycle through just a second here. And this storm is progressing through northern Branch County and about to reach into southern Calhoun County. So this is now going to be taking over any warning decision, whether that's a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. That decision, as the storm moves into Calhoun County, is going to be made by the National Weather Service office of Grand Rapids. But as of now, the tornado warning is across northern Branch County, and a severe thunderstorm warning is still in play for southern Calhoun County until 5:15, so about 45 minutes from now. The main threat right now is just hail, upwards of 1 inch in diameter, but because this storm obviously has shown history of rotation and along now with a confirmed touchdown, there is still the threat of a tornado in this thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So that is the focus over the next 45 minutes at the very least as this thunderstorm works through Calhoun County. And again, this is all pushing east-northeast, so if you're watching from Kalamazoo per se, this thunderstorm is not heading in your direction. Not saying to let the guard down the rest of the evening, but as for now, there's no concern for a imminent severe thunderstorm. This is all pushing through southern Calhoun County, and eventually we'll head towards Jackson County, the Jackson area, at least over the next hour or so. So again, this is pushing southern Calhoun County right now. And just to be clear, for those wondering in Grand Rapids, the greater Grand Rapids area, Holland, Muskegon, everyone in between, while there are ongoing showers right now and maybe even a clap of thunder, not necessarily seeing that being detected on radar, but there is no concern right now here at 4:32 of any severe weather risk as you push your way northward towards I-96, I-196, for example, in places north. Our focus just completely revolves around this thunderstorm now progressing into southern Calhoun County.
Yeah, so going into southern Calhoun County towards the area that would be more so approaching Union City. These are the spots where we are seeing still a hail core moving through. So hail being the main concern as the storm becomes a little bit more elevated. So there's still rotation associated with this storm, kind of jumping back over to what we're seeing inside of the storm when we're talking about rotation and winds. Some pretty strong winds, and the National Weather Service is also noting that there's a pretty strong outflow through that area that's approaching Athens. That's where the hail core is. That's where we're seeing strong winds as a possibility. But then, of course, that tornado warning, it's still not done yet. It is still going to be sticking around until 5 o'clock through Branch, St. Joseph County, mainly into Branch County at this point as it continues to make its way further and further to the northeast. It's still tracking at least a little bit slower than 40 miles an hour at this point, but areas close to Albion, looking at Athens especially right now, these are the spots where you really want to make sure that you are getting into your safe spot, the areas where you are going to be experiencing still some thunderstorm activity. So a closer look at what we're seeing from this storm. Still, there are many areas that are going to be experiencing some more thunderstorm activity into the next about 30 to 45 minutes as the storm continues to track further and further off to the northeast, making its way through Calhoun County, which is where we're seeing that severe thunderstorm warning. Still with the tornado possible tag, as the storm does have a history of rotation and is still seeing a bit of rotation. But at this point, the main risk is going to be associated instead with the hail core. So switching over to Doppler radar here to get a little bit of a closer look at what the most recent scan has shown us. There still is those really bright reflectivity colors close to and just to the northeast of Athens. That's where we're going to be seeing the greatest hail risk at this point. That will continue to track once again further off to the northeast, but for the time being, we still are looking at that hail potential. There have been some areas that have been experiencing some greater hail potential. Looks like this one's having a little bit of trouble loading, but still instead what we have been able to see from this is some rotation, the possibility of hail up to 1 inch in diameter, and the chance for maximum wind speeds up to 50 miles an hour. And once again, this is through southern Calhoun County until now 5:15.
Yeah, until 5:15, and just taking a look at the velocity here from the radar site out of Grand Rapids now, and for those that are unfamiliar where that is technically at, that is at the Ford International Airport. That is in Cascade Township, so southeast of downtown Grand Rapids. This is very far away from the radar site, but as Amber kind of indicating the rotation here, it is showing at least broadly well up in this thunderstorm that there is still rotation. We call this a mesocyclone, and it has the potential because of the favorable ingredients that are in our atmosphere. And this is just one discrete thunderstorm. So it's feeding in all of the favorable ingredients across southern Michigan right now as the temperature climbs near 60 degrees, the dew point as well in the 60s. It is feeding off of all of that together, and you can see that broad rotation there. Amber, you want to take over real quick? I'm going to change my mic just real quickly here.
Yeah, for sure. So we are still seeing this one storm that's making its way now through southern Calhoun County. This is the area where we are really focusing on the most because there's not a whole lot going on elsewhere. So this one cell that's making its way towards Athens, over towards Union City, and will eventually track into the Albion area a little bit later on. This is what we're paying attention to the most because it's had a rotation history. It's still seeing some broad but fairly unorganized rotation. But that's why when we're looking at the severe thunderstorm warning, it still does have the tornado possible tag. Now, at this point, once again, this one storm is really the main problem child. Other than that, a lot of West Michigan is still seeing rain, but nothing severe up towards Muskegon into Ottawa and Muskegon counties, towards Kalamazoo, or rather towards Kent and Newaygo counties, and extending to areas that are northeast of that. With that being said, it does not mean that we are in the clear for the evening. So right now we have this severe thunderstorm warning that is still tracking through southern Calhoun County. That is the one that we've been paying the most attention to because it's where we've been seeing warnings. Simple as that, but many areas still going to be experiencing the chance for some severe thunderstorm warnings a little bit later on this evening. And once again, tornado still possible within this cell as we still are seeing some rotation. Those ingredients are there. This storm specifically didn't have any other storms to really contend with, to fight with for some of that fuel. So it was able to strengthen pretty quickly. It dropped a tornado towards the areas of Niles, Schoolcraft, and then extending further northeast towards the Three Rivers area as well, where emergency management is reporting of seeing some damage. There's been damage reports coming into some of those areas. But still, it does not necessarily mean that it's doing that right now. It does look like hail would be the main concern with this. So with this severe thunderstorm warning, hail warned up to 1 inch in diameter with max wind speeds up to 50 miles an hour. This specific severe thunderstorm warning will remain in place until 5:15. And once again, this is through southern Calhoun County. It's continuing to track further to the northeast. This is where we're going to be experiencing the greatest impacts over the next about 30 to 45 minutes or so. With that being said, even beyond that, it still does look like we could end up seeing more thunderstorm development as the warm front tracks further northward into this evening. So at this point, we do have a little bit of clearing when we're looking at clouds. And with that being said, that means that there's going to be some additional energy added to our atmosphere.
Yeah, I believe, Amber, it does appear within the last 2 minutes right now.
The tornado warning.
There is a tornado warning now for Calhoun County. And per multiple spotters, there is a tornado on the ground near the Union City area. So that is right on the border of Calhoun and Branch County. We'll kind of give a better look here on satellite and radar. This is now, it appears to be it's still radar indicated here on radar or from the National Weather Service, but this may be upgraded sooner than later. This is the thunderstorm that's working its way again into southern Calhoun County to the east of Athens, just to the north of Union City, and a better look at not only hail potentials there as well, but again, we're looking at that broad rotation that seems to be tightening up somewhat. We'll say this is sampling the atmosphere several thousand feet up in the sky because of the distance away from the radar site at the Ford International Airport near Cascade Township. But there is rotation being detected, and just based on maybe some of the storm reports, the spotters that are near this thunderstorm, this may be producing another tornado on the ground. At the very least, this is being radar detected, the potential of a thunderstorm. And again, this is now including Calhoun County until about, let's get a better look here. This is going to be now in play until about 5:30 in the early evening. So this is a 50-minute warning across southern Calhoun County. This does not include the Battle Creek area. So for those watching in Battle Creek, even near Marshall, this is not including you as of now. I will say if you are watching in the Marshall area, have friends or family near Marshall, might not be a bad idea to start putting that severe weather plan in effect. But this does appear maybe it'll brush this thunderstorm just to the south of Marshall. This is going to be crossing I-69 within, or actually, yeah, I-6, I believe they, or US, or I-60.
Yeah, I-69.
Want to make sure I have my highways right here. But this will be progressing into that portion of Calhoun County over the next 30 minutes or so, eventually to the eastern half of Calhoun County, probably by that 5:30 time frame.
Yeah.
And then eventually that would be pushing to the westward of Jackson. But again, this is now a tornado warning for southern Calhoun County until 5:30. Radar indicating that there is the potential of a thunderstorm. We are seeing some of that on our velocity product, the sampling of wind in our atmosphere, that there remains rotation with this thunderstorm. And I believe we do have some video in. Is this going to be from the Three Rivers area? Yeah, this is from the Three Rivers area being sent in here to 13 on your side. I'm assuming we're going to see probably some storm damage here coming up.
Tell me if I need to dodge something. I'm watching cars.
It looks like, too, you can kind of see that funnel cloud off in the distance.
It's over there. I see it.
Yep, there it is.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
wow. Yep, you can see it right there.
Holy
Center of your
cow.
screen there.
US 131 South.
I think if we can get through here, we'll be good. I haven't seen anything like other than,
All the debris that it's chucking.
yeah.
And Amber, you can also see a little bit of debris being lofted. There it is. That's
Yeah.
a better look
Holy
at
crap.
that debris
Oh,
being
Menard
lofted with this
Oh,
tornado.
wow,
And there
there
it
we
is.
go.
Wow, you can really
Oh
see
my
debris being
gosh.
lofted up there.
We need to go because the storage shed just blew off.
And that isn't where the Menards location
We
is. You
just
saw a
need to
Meyer
go through
there,
that light.
then a Menards.
Oh
That is
my-
right where we had that storm report come in at 346 of that damage at the Menards. They also mentioned that the storage unit was damaged, and we just saw it right there
Yeah.
on that video. We'll replay that for you in just a couple minutes, but that is That's as evident as it can be that this is a confirmed tornado. That was a confirmed tornado in the Three Rivers area. This is the same thunderstorm pushing now into southern Calhoun County. This is right in the Union City area. This will be approaching the Highway 69 over the next several minutes, and if it continues its path to the east-northeast, this will be working in the eastern Calhoun County over the next 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, and you can really tell where that hook echo has redefined itself. There was a brief period of time towards Athens where a lot of it became less organized and hail became the main threat, and even at this point, hail still a concern. Now, as we're looking at many areas that are experiencing this thunderstorm, hail has been a concern, but of course, rotation. That's been something we've been looking at over the past about hour or so when we've been talking about much of southwest Michigan, now extending over into Calhoun County, where that tornado warning is in place. Radar indicated still at this point, but it does sound like there are some reports of people seeing rotation. And it looks like we've got even our debris potential really showing off.
I just want to make a quick note here, Amber, that there is a confirmed debris signature with this ongoing thunderstorm in the Union City area. For those that are not familiar with this product, this is an indication of trying to separate meteorological objects such as heavy rainfall per se to non-meteorological items, which could be shingles, it could be tree branches, anything that is non-meteorological is highlighted in a different color, and you can see it does appear in the Union City area right in here that there is a debris signature with this ongoing tornadic thunderstorm right in the Union City area, which is on the border of St. Joseph, or actually, excuse me, Branch in Calhoun County. So again, this does appear to be now another instance of a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is again pushing into southern Calhoun County right now. I just want to get a better look at that warning on radar. It is still technically radar indicated by the National Weather Service, but I have a feeling that now there it is. There's the upgrade. Yep, it's coming in right now. You can see the source right here at the top left portion of your screen. That is indicating it is a observed tornado. So there is a tornado actively on the ground right now to the north of Union City. And this tornado warning goes in play until 5:30 here in the early evening. And just to give a better example here, this is riding right along, it seems, for those familiar in the Union City, right along M60. This would be heading towards the Burlington area. So for those that are in the Burlington area, it is time to head to the most secure portion of your house, whether that be in a basement. If you do not have a basement, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside of your home. But this would be heading right along Union City and then probably right overhead of the Burlington area right now, Amber, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is right along the M60 area in the Burlington area. So this would be approaching that portion of Calhoun County and then still heading in an east to northeast direction.
Yeah, that's where it looks like we're still seeing a little bit of what we call velocity couplet, where you see the reds and greens next to each other, meaning winds that are going towards and away from the radar. So that's still where an area of rotation is set up. And you can even tell that through what we would call a little bit of a hook here that we're seeing. And I want to see if I can show you a little bit closer. But right here is the area that we're talking about. So where it kind of curves a little bit further off to the south, this is exactly where the inflow is going in, feeding into this storm and also contributing to that tornado formation that we've been able to see. So now this is considered to be a confirmed tornado warning through Calhoun County, through Albion, Athens, and extending further off to the northeast. At this point, Athens, it looks like you're out of the clear, but yeah, right over Burlington is where the heart of that rotation is. That is going to be extended until 5:30, so still over the next about 45 minutes or so, just less than that. There's a lot of people still in this area. It's mostly rural, but some of these towns are going to be experiencing this tornadic activity, and you really want to make sure that you're getting to your basement, the most interior room of your home, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible.
Yeah, that is the key there. Anytime that we have, especially right now, a confirmed observed tornado on the ground that's now to the north and east of Union City, likely now a little bit past the Burlington area to the north and east, along with the ongoing tornado. This is producing likely some large hail, possibly in excess of 1 inch in diameter, but we're really still keeping an eye on that rotation that seems to be holding somewhat strong, Amber.
Yeah.
Again, when we see these greens and reds matched together, we call that a couplet. This is now sampling out of the Ford International Airport, the Grand Rapids radar site to the southeast of downtown. The greens are indicating winds inbound to the radar site. The red coloring, those are outbound winds away from the radar site. And when we start to see those tightly work their way together, that is indicating that there is rotation. Now, again, this is sampling pretty high up in the atmosphere just because of the curvature of Earth, how this is feeding into the radar. But at the very least, when we have that report that this is an ongoing tornado, this is supporting that this storm is still quite dangerous as it pushes into southern Calhoun County. And you can see that there still appears to be some sort of debris signature that matches up right where the rotation is at. So that just gives even more confirmation that this is an ongoing tornado, again, right between Union City and Burlington right now.
Yeah, and when we're talking about debris potential too, this is not necessarily going, or this is instead something that we have already seen kind of observations of. If we're able to pull up that video once again that was in Three Rivers, kind of talking about that tornado where it touched down around the Three Rivers area, and this is looking out towards Menards. Now, this is some seriously impressive and stunning footage to see, and terrifying at that.
Yeah, for those that are unfamiliar, this is about to the southwest of downtown Three Rivers, southwest side of town at least. They're going to be passing a mire and then heading towards right nearby the Menards that was damaged.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the funnel cloud kind of show up, but then it's really clear once you start to see the debris flying.
Yeah, there you can see right there, that's clear as day, the ongoing, what was the ongoing tornado, and you'll eventually see some debris being lofted up.
I haven't seen anything like other than
All the debris that's jumping.
yeah.
There's some of that debris being lofted up right now, and they're going to be heading right there to the storage unit.
Oh my gosh. We need to go because the storage shed just blew off and everything came out. We just need to go through that light.
Wow. Yeah, multiple reports coming out of the Three Rivers area talking about damage that has been seen. Here's another one.
And here's another video of damage in the Three Rivers area. Wow, this is pretty extensive, Amber.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the debris being lofted up into the tree on the power lines there. Yeah, this appears to be, this was definitely a stronger tornado. This was not your run-of-the-mill spin-up that we can see at times. This was what is appearing to be a stronger tornado that impacted the Three Rivers area. Letting this loop one more time, and yeah, you can just see the extensive damage on the side of the road there.
Yeah, and that tornado warning is still ongoing through the Calhoun area. Now, at this point, we did see what looked like potentially a lift of that tornado briefly and some less organization to the debris, or rather the velocity signature. But since then, we have seen instead more organization of that rotation once again. And even that little bit of a hook that we're seeing still right around the Burlington area, now moving to the northeast side of the Burlington area. This is where we have been experiencing still rotation. And I want to pull up our velocity product right now just so that we can show you where that rotation is. Now, it's not necessarily as organized, it's not as pronounced as what we were seeing over the Three Rivers area, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be something that you really want to take for granted, essentially. This is still very much so a dangerous situation that you want to make sure that you are prepared for. Getting to the most interior room of your home, your basement, both of those extremely important as we do continue to track this tornado warning that's making its way across southern Calhoun County. So this continues to track its way further to the east-northeast, moving at about 35 miles an hour at this point, impacting areas such as Burlington, Albion, going over towards Albion at least within the next about 30 minutes or so. Now, I want to turn on instead our Doppler radar product and stop time to show you exactly where this storm is currently. Now, it is making its way further off to the northeast, but what I really want to point out, too, is that we still are seeing the potential for some hail out of this as well. So currently, this is an observed, confirmed tornado warning with maximum hail warned up to 1 inch in diameter. So there are still multiple hazards that we're dealing with here, Blake.
And this is just now to the north of the Teconcha area, right along 69. This is now pushing into the eastern half of the county. And like you mentioned, yeah, not only do we have this, as of all accounts, this continued observed tornado, at least that's the latest report we had about 5 minutes ago. as you mentioned, large hail with this. In the Union City area, there was reports of about half-inch size hail. So a little bit smaller than quarter size, but still notable hail size there in the Union City area, along with that confirmed tornado that is continuing to push through southern Calhoun County, again, from Union City to Burlington to the north of the Concha area along 69. This is still producing, at the very least, some large hail. That's the loop of radar. This is a hail indicator. When you start seeing those dark shades of red and purple, that is indicating that there is some hail reaching the ground. And at the very least, we're continuing this broad rotation along 69 here in southern Calhoun County. Not necessarily seeing as much of a debris signature right now, Amber, which is good news. It looks a little more disorganized. That's what we want to see. Could be possibly indicating that this tornado may be lifting off the ground. It still may be cycling back to a funnel cloud. But as of now, seeing a little less organization with that thunderstorm in the way of rotation and any debris signature. So I think that is somewhat of a good sign. Don't want to let our guard off by any means for those that are watching in southern Calhoun County right now. And again, this is all pushing along just now to the east of 69, kind of riding along maybe just a little northward of M60 there, Amber, it appears like.
Yeah, through southern Calhoun County, that is where this storm is continuing to travel. Right around 35 miles an hour is its speed at this point to the east-northeast.
It's a little bit, in this portion of Calhoun County is a little bit more on the rural side. There's not as many landmarks to go off of here, but this is still a dangerous thunderstorm, tornadic thunderstorm that has a history of producing damage. We have seen that now in multiple cities, especially in the Three Rivers area. We have ran 2 videos now, one of which confirms that report from the Weather Service of the Menards in Three Rivers being severely damaged, along with its attendant storage unit. And then again, another confirmation of a tornado in the Union City area. So we've had multiple occurrences of a tornado on the ground with this specific thunderstorm. And I do want to go back and just make it clear for those that are tuning in right now. It's a little bit before the 5 o'clock news. For those that are watching across the west of West Michigan, there is no ongoing severe weather threat right now. There are showers, some of which on the heavier side, pushing through the greater Grand Rapids area into the Holland area right now. And there's a large batch of rain starting to work its way across the middle of Lake Michigan. As of now, there's no indication that any of this is turning severe, but as this evening progresses by, we'll have to have a close eye on any thunderstorm that does develop, because we're starting to see that warm front lift northward now into portions of West Michigan, at least along I-94 and just to the south of it. And you can kind of see a few other cells trying to pop up in the southwest corner of the state. So that's just something to be mindful of, that while this individual thunderstorm is now starting to push a little bit to the east of our viewing area, or at the very least West Michigan in general, there may be some additional storms that fire up behind that, and we'll keep a close eye, obviously, on this broader line of subsevere showers and storms right now.
Yeah, and then if we're able to potentially pull up to looking at visibility, or rather satellite, to show kind of where some of the sunshine is starting to come through, that's not good news. That destabilizes our atmosphere even more and adds fuel to the fire when we're talking about just where we have some of those areas with storm potential. If we can pull up computer 1 once again, that's where we're seeing some of that sun. And I was noticing it too in those videos coming out of the Three Rivers area. Yes, you could see the debris behind the storm, but you could also see some sunshine coming through, which adds to that instability and could make for things to get a little messy again this evening.
Yeah, you know, seeing some of that clearing stretching across parts of Kalamazoo, Van Buren County, back to the state, southwest corner of the state there, near Michigan City. That, again, may allow for more fuel in our atmosphere as this progression goes on.
Yes, we've been seeing warm temperatures too all throughout this evening, which is also what's adding fuel to what's happening right now. So I want to show you what our current temperatures are looking like, because it does feel like spring out there in multiple ways. Yes, because of the thunderstorms, but also because of the warm temps. Currently at 64 degrees in Three Rivers, even behind some of those thunderstorms. 68 in Benton Harbor right now, 57 here in Grand Rapids. And our dew points, those aren't necessarily all that far off, and that's what's going to be contributing still to plenty of moisture in our atmosphere, Blake.
Yes. And, you know, I think it's one of those situations, Amber, it's just all about the progression of this warm front as this evening goes on. Right now, we're still in the upper 50s near and north of I-96, likely limiting that severe potential for now, but it's all about that progression as this evening goes on. And I don't want to forget that there is the potential for more thunderstorm activity early tomorrow morning. So
yes.
We are approaching the 5 o'clock news here at 13 on your side. It is 4:58 in the late afternoon. Myself, Amber, we are going to take just a brief break as we get into our 5 p.m. news. So again, we're going to continue to keep you updated with this potential of severe weather. As mentioned, we still have that ongoing tornado warning in southern Calhoun County right now, just to the east of Burlington. We'll have more on that and the progression of any additional storms as this evening goes on. We'll have that for you in just a minute. We're going to send it back and allow for our 5 o'clock news to be ongoing.
This is a 13 Weather Impact Alert.
And we begin this afternoon with that 13 Weather Impact Alert. You've been watching our weather coverage all afternoon. The possibility of strong to severe storms here in West Michigan.
And already some tornadoes have been reported south of us near the Indiana border. Lindsay Whitaker shared this video from Three Rivers showing lots of debris flying around near a Menards and storage facility.
You can just watch it flying through the air.
Wow.
We need to go.
Yeah, there it goes. There's the roof right there. And then there's another video sent to us from Leah Osborne showing the damage from that potential tornado. We do have a crew almost there to Three Rivers right now, and we will have live reports coming up later this hour.
So this is what it looks like in our area right now. Very foggy, rainy from the lakeshore to Grand Rapids. We'll have that in just a few minutes. But right here, we can see the foggy, rainy in our area, not the tornadoes that we were seeing south of us.
Yeah, that was in Three Rivers. But again, we have team coverage this afternoon. Both of our meteorologists, Blake Hansen and Amber Twardy, are in the Weather Center now with the very latest.
Yes, Julia and Elena, of course, you saw that video just a second ago of that confirmed tornado in the Three Rivers area there in St. Joseph County in the southwest side of town, impacting the Menards. It's also a tented storage unit. And also this same thunderstorm has produced a tornado in the Union City area right on the Branch Calhoun County line.
Yes, and then that tornado is still continuing to track to the east-northeast, so that's why our tornado warning is still in effect through much of southern California.
Yeah, still in effect. And as we go to satellite and radar, I do want to make it clear the bulk of West Michigan right now not contending with severe weather. Yes, we have active rain going on right now, stretching from Holland, Muskegon into the greater Grand Rapids area, even farther to the north and east. But none of that is on the severe side by any means. Our focus still remains this ongoing severe thunderstorm, this tornadic thunderstorm progressing through the eastern half now of Calhoun County, almost heading towards the Albion area. For those familiar with that general area of eastern Calhoun County, that is where that thunderstorm is trekking. Eventually, it does appear within the next half hour or so. We will see this tornado, or I should say this severe thunderstorm progress into the Jackson area. But temperatures have been warming up.